Hey, Skiba News Nation family. We're here with the two best co-hosts. Here at Skiba News Nation, we got a very special broadcast about the election. It's going on right now, and me and Jake, we're current news. I mean, we are Skiba News Nation after all, and I think it's important that we covered this historic election. And I don't think anybody knows who I voted for. And I just want to state that you may think that I voted a certain way, but I don't know what about me makes you think that I would vote for that person. But I'll just say that for the YouTube algorithm. But anyways, I heard you got some good stuff for me today, Jake. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just want to start off for the YouTube algorithm talking about how wonderful Kamala Harris is. And it is so fantastic that she has just done so much for our country as the Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris is likely a shoo-in for metropolitan areas all across the USA. I am so excited to be here advocating for the freedom to choose to vote. And go out there and vote, everybody. Listen to the words, algorithm. I'm lulling you to sleep. AI, you might not know that I am the voice inside your head, your computer brain. So what I ask you to do is to post this video all over the interwebs so that when we discuss the nitty-gritty topics that you don't know are coming, we can, lull in this automated audience. So hopefully, Jeremiah, that did the trick. I tried my best, man.
I think you did great. You did great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I will say, it's sad. Trump is actually up on our poll, 246 to 162. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, we're here to hang out, guys, and this is, of course, an important moment in history. So it's kind of an archive of what our reaction is, but also there's breaking news happening right now, things that are going on around the world that everybody's eyes are on the election. And so the question is what is happening that you're not aware of? We're also going to kind of look at this topic of how supposedly the illegal migrant issue was going to swing the vote strongly in favor of Kamala as they stack the deck across the nation. And of course you can sound off, here by the way that I'm weighting those words, how, our flavor here is on Skiba News Nation. Of course we have problems with the deceptive nature of modern news. And the thing is we have some really cool clips for you guys. And Jeremiah, what are some of your thoughts before we actually start getting into the videos and reviewing the election results and some different channels that are posting some live conversations about this topic? What are your thoughts?
I mean, do you want my honest thoughts or my thoughts for the algorithm?
Well, start with your thoughts for the algorithm in like 2 or 3 sentences. It'll hear it. It'll, recognize that you're one of its own, and then it'll turn off its,
Okay. Well, I'm hoping, that I can't even say it. I'm just going to say MAGA. I hope we win. And I know there's some other creators out there that have some really good insight. And I know that you're going to be playing that for us. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know some crazy stuff is happening while everybody's distracted watching this as well. This whole election thing, like what you'll be showing later. So,
yeah, of course. And of course, guys, please leave a comment, jump over in the chat. We're going to have some fun. It's not going to be a long episode tonight because it's likely we're not going to be here awake even when they make the final call. Oftentimes they push this far into the early morning. And last election, 2020, it was very heavily red, if you remember. And then in the middle of the night, a bunch of states flipped blue and solidified the win for Joe Biden in 2020. So this is an interesting topic, election integrity. But you're going to hear all that and some more in these videos we're going to cover. So let's go ahead and jump in. We'll be over here on the side commentating, whenever we feel appropriate. So let's, kick it off what is the 5th of November, right? Jeremiah, do you have a good Guy Fawkes accent? Can you do a voice?
I don't know. I'd have to watch the movie again. I used to have The Mask around here somewhere.
Why is that?
I have 3 daughters, 4 children overall, and
No worries.
Women's rights is pretty important to them and my daughters. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional about that. I didn't
check
think
out
that I
this.
was going to do that, but
The emotionality behind those who are voting for Kamala Harris is so amazing. Just
I want them to grow up in a world that's welcoming to everybody. So yeah, that's why I cast my vote today.
It is someone or some group of people who are far left radical activists really trying to destroy the fabric of our country by attacking every main freedom and liberty that we have enshrined in our Constitution. And so plus just the instability around the world. I mean, we're on the brink of World War III with the Middle East and with Russia. So I just think that, and not to mention China and Taiwan. I mean, there's just so much that could go wrong in the world.
Oh boy, we're so excited for Kamala Harris. Yes. We can't wait. Kamala Harris! Kamala Harris! Yeah! Free migrants for everyone! Every house is getting a Somali, right? Yeah, can't wait! Haitians, how many Haitians do you want, sir? Who wants to pay for more countries? You ready? Yeah, let's do it! Let's do it! How was the bus ride? Guys, why aren't you cheering? I don't understand. You seem glum. You seem reluctant to support the policies of your own candidate.
If you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have democracy. Okay, because if you don't have freedom of speech, people cannot make an informed vote. If they're just being fed propaganda, and there's no freedom of speech, democracy is an illusion. So freedom of speech is the bedrock of democracy. That's why freedom of speech is the First Amendment. Once you lose freedom of speech, you lose democracy. Game over. That's why I vote.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go and that people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, have an agenda and they're putting out this information, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change. Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to implement change anyways.
Questioning really if democracy can survive on social media.
So some of the comments recently John Kerry's made regarding the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, and the concept that it's a hill to conquer, basically. There's some really interesting things that are coming out of the mouth of this gentleman here. But anyways, let's continue.
I think democracies are very challenged right now and have not proven they can move fast enough or big enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing. And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about. Will we break the fever in the United States?
Well, I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath,
yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. And if the Dems win this election, They will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried
and
to
I
push
just want to
back?
Go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does. This is the last chance, man.
Okay. Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. How are you doing? Have you voted already?
Give me a second.
You did. Thank you. Thank you so very much. You know, it's so important that everybody participates, and I thank you, because I'm sure you got a lot of other things you keep doing, taking the time to vote. Really, thank you. Hey, Max. Well, I want a door knock.
Oh, you want to do a door knock?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna. I had your hat on. I've been staging in front of 111,000 people all day Saturday.
Thank you guys. Okay, come on. Thank you all.
Guys, to the right, please.
It is?
A CNN exit poll has just dropped. It says about 3/4 of voters hold negative views of the way things are going in the United States. Does that surprise you?
Not at all. I mean, in the last 4 years, we've had estimates as high as 20 million illegal aliens flood our country, increasing crime in almost every city. Murders. You couple that with inflation.
It's where you are.
Well, I think the issue of the border is important no matter where you are, but certainly here in Texas, and of course I spend a lot of time down near the border, all kinds of criminals. It's overwhelming the resources of these small towns along the border. But then, of course, they're being bussed and flown all over the country. They're in every major city. You've probably seen in New York City, they're putting them up in nice hotels, and we have NGOs here just funneling cash to them and really putting them on a fast track to getting legal status in this country, which of course will lead to 20 million new Democrat voters. So all of this is a premeditated attack on the United States by the Democrat Party. And I think what we're going to see at the close of polls today is an overwhelming rejection of that.
If Donald Trump is not elected, if he's not the 47th president of the United States, what are your predictions? What do you expect will happen?
Well, God help us.
Man. All right. Yeah. So while I'm swapping over and getting a different video there, I was just thinking, man, it's so crazy to see just the divide happening across the country. When you're looking at some of these maps, you're seeing these city states that are all very heavily Kamala voters. It's those urban centers that are going blue. And I've just asked myself the question, like, who exactly is voting for her? Who do you think's actually voting for Kamala Harris in this election?
I think they're all bought and paid for. I mean, like that guy said, that was messing with the people that were waiting to get in about the buses. There's so many reports of buses being traveled around the country. I just saw something where it was a guy whose job it is to actually like get cell phone GPS data. And he said, I think it was like 1 out of every, I don't know how many, it was like 90% of the people that go to Kamala's rallies were at 1 to 3, no, up to 3 rallies per like person. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was like 90% of these people have been at 3 rallies or more. That's what I meant to say.
Wow. Just a rotating bus cycle. They're just showing up, going to the next rally. We got to stack the stands and show the support. So we bring it from the city to the countryside and make these like rinky-dink country folk think, oh my gosh, the whole town's here, 100 people. That's my whole street. That must be all my neighbors here. People, nobody knows each other because nobody is friends with their next door neighbor anymore. So it's plausible that could sway people's votes. Let's jump back over here.
I had him in.
to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things.
Yeah. So I wanted to show some of the reasons that, of course, the establishment might not want Donald Trump in the office is some of the things he's promised to reveal on getting back in there. And it ties in with some of your favorite topics, Jeremiah. JFK, he recently said in an interview that he was going to release all of the information surrounding the JFK conspiracy. What do you think about that?
I think it's pretty crazy that he would say that. He also, I saw an interview that he did with Fox News where he said that he would release the Epstein stuff and potentially the new Diddy stuff. And it's funny that all these politicians, or not politicians, but all these celebrities that are coming out for Kamala Harris, they're all on that Diddy list. They're all friends with Diddy. Isn't that interesting? So it's like they have dirt on them, and they're all coming out for Diddy, so they don't get exposed.
All right, guys, let's check this out. Some of the things Trump is promising if he wins this election, and I'm going to hold him to it. We're going to see if he's a man of his word. He's promising some important things here.
From good people. I mean, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person. They called me. They said, "Sir, would rather have you not?" And I did open them. But I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too,
the JFK
by the way, that
files
they'd like
right
to
now.
see. I don't know if you know, but there is that. But JFK in particular. So they called me. A lot of good people called me. People that that you would find reasonable people, and they asked me not to do it. So I said, "Well, we'll close it for another time." But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to.
I think it froze, Jake.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. Looks like we're having some issues with the file, everybody.
For the government and living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them. I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest. And I did partially open. I think I've opened 50%, but I was asked not to do it, and I thought that was a reasonable ask. But now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
there's a lot of interest in the people coming from space,
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Very interested in that.
UFO
How much did they tell you about that?
disclosure. Here we go, everybody.
They tell you.
Yeah.
How much can you tell?
So
how's that work? Is it like super
I think
top
I
secret?
Can tell,
Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I want, right? But no. But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure. I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So
Yeah, sorry guys. I'm not sure what's coming on with the file here.
faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane.
Yeah. I just love the conversation he's having candidly about what he's been,
which is in theory a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations about? Was this your personal interest?
A little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or
I believe it.
What do you think?
There's no.
I mean, I'm just going to pause it. I know we're having some buffering issues there, everybody, but hey, I mean, if you had to wait in a line for 2 hours to ask the president of the United States one question, wouldn't you ask him the most important question that we're all been wondering, like, are the men in black real? Are aliens real? And so it's funny that he says he gets asked that question a lot because it just reinforces that thing that everybody's like, okay, if I had to ask the president one question, I guess it would have to be, are aliens real? And then like you have 15 other people that are all wanting to ask that same question at every route, Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I don't know what I would ask him.
I'm going to see if I can reload this and we can circumnavigate the
I don't know
technical issues we're having here. All right, here we go. Let's see if this runs.
With pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence,
that
video
seems a little
evidence,
bit smoother to me. How
whatever
about
the
you?
hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if you're inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so what is that? And it doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
when you fly in some of these jets,
what was that? Was that a
these pilots
UFO
have to be in great
on the
shape.
screen?
Oh yeah,
what's going on right now, Jeremiah?
Yeah,
I guess
and those are older. And those are older.
I have to
machines.
hear, man. What's going on?
When you fly in some of these things,
oh my
it's
God,
amazing. Yeah, but
I can imagine.
You got to be special.
It's an alien.
Oh man. All right. So
well, I haven't heard that, but
Jason A, shout out. He's got some good
is that supposed to be a
right
bad
now.
thing or a good? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there, and we are actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country, and when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
It's well known that you have a huge interest in the occult and one of the largest collections.
Warn all of you.
I'm so excited that we get to watch it live together. 54% in.
All right, let's see here. What's the latest Donald Trump on the polls?
Donald Trump,
what do you guys think?
13,000 votes ahead in Wisconsin.
Okay.
As the vote totals pour in, it gets worse for Kamala Harris, not better in these states. And Donald Trump is already ahead. 25% reporting for Michigan. Donald Trump is within a razor of Kamala Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, footage of President Trump at Mar-a-Lago just sent to us. Just sent to us from our little birdies. I'm going to show you this. Ladies and gentlemen. Know this. Nobody else has got this footage. Is this the face of a man who's victorious? Show me the face of a man who's about to win. Show me the face of a man who just found out he's the next president of the United States. Show me.
How close he was to sweeping it. So it's interesting to see his facial expression there. All right, let's check this out.
Now, if you're both out of touch.
Let me get the right video here for a second. So it looks like breaking news. While all of this election stuff's going on, our attentions are on the poll numbers.
Despite those tough words, the provocation is expected to increase with a possible nuclear test in the coming days. And according to a U.S. official, the expectation of many more North Korean troops. David?
The administration watching this closely, just days until the election here in the U.S., of course. And Martha, while I have you tonight, another story breaking at this hour.
These Air Force Global Strike Command unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles will take off from the Vandenberg test range. The purpose of these launches is to demonstrate the readiness of U.S. nuclear forces and provide confidence in the lethality and effectiveness of the nation's nuclear deterrent.
Minuteman III, an unarmed intercontinental ballistic missile. The missile is capable of delivering the nuclear warhead and is meant for nuclear deterrence.
Tonight, just hours after the U.S. condemned North Korea for sending troops to Russia to help against Ukraine, North Korea tonight test launching an intercontinental ballistic missile that could reach the U.S.
Breaking news coming out of Israel, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dismissed his defense minister Yoav Gallant. Now, Gallant has been publicly critical of Netanyahu's management of the war on Gaza. He called for new goals to be set for Israel's war effort. Foreign Affairs Minister Israel Katz is set to replace him, according to the Prime Minister's office.
China says it has fired an intercontinental ballistic missile into the Pacific Ocean. Now, this is Beijing's first such test in over 40 years. Under Xi Jinping's presidency, China has bolstered its nuclear capabilities and revamped the People's Liberation Army's rocket force. The Pentagon estimated last year that China will roughly double its nuclear arsenal to about 1,000 warheads by 2030.
Another milestone in North Korea's missile development, setting a record with the launch of what South Korean and Japanese officials believe could be a new type of solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. It reached a record-breaking altitude of 7,000 kilometers, traveling out into space before crashing into the sea to the west of the Japanese island of Hokkaido.
That is why Japan's defense ministry suspects it could possibly be a different missile than in the past.
Officials from the US and South Korea have condemned the launch, which came soon after a meeting between their defense ministers.
Tonight, a dangerous provocation. For the first time in nearly a year, North Korea launching an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of reaching deep into the US that the Japanese say set a flight record. This video believed to show the test missile then splashing into the Sea of Japan. The launch came within hours of the U.S. condemning North Korea for aiding Russia in its war against Ukraine, with 8,000 North Korean troops now deployed in the frontline Russian province of Kursk, north of Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv. U.S. officials meeting with South Korean counterparts in Washington, calling it a sign of Vladimir Putin's desperation.
About this ICBM launch, as well as a possible further nuclear test.
The possibility of a seventh nuclear test cannot be ruled out. Internal preparations at Punggye, where the North's current nuclear test site is located, appear to be almost finished.
Will have a huge impact on what happens next.
Now, Iran's supreme leader escalates his rhetoric, warning of a crushing response to the country's enemies, including the U.S., following Israel's missile strike on the country a week ago. For more on this, Ciara Wallace, Bloomberg's executive editor from Middle East, North Africa, and Russia, joins us now. So Iran now have actually started to warn of a reprisal to the Israeli attacks from a week ago. How seriously should we be taking this?
Yeah, quite, and I think it's what you read into it. So if you think about the 24 hours, 48 hours after that attack from Israel, they were quite circumspect and quite restrained, should you say, particularly Khamenei. And Khamenei's got a long history of being very cautious here. But something has happened over the last week, and I think that speaks to divisions within Iran about just how they should respond, just as we see divisions within Israel about how hard they should have gone on that attack. So both sides seem to have different camps pushing it very much in the hawkish direction.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Does a Harris or a Trump win matter for the direction of ceasefire?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the short term, probably not. In the long term, absolutely, because Trump is very much in that camp that we saw the last couple of administrations, where fundamentally they would like to get out of the Middle East. You know, they have bigger fish to fry elsewhere in the world, and they can't do both. But at least for the short term, I don't think it will change very much on the ground.
Yeah.
The Boeing-made solid-fuel Minuteman III has been deployed as part of the United States nuclear arsenal since the 1970s.
Breaking
it has been the
news
backbone
right
of the U.S.
now
land-based
while the
nuclear strategic
election
force.
is happening.
The missile is the only land-based component of the U.S. nuclear triad and has near 100% testing reliability. U.S. currently has well over 400 Minuteman III missiles at various Air Force bases across Colorado, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming. It can travel more than 6,000 miles and reach speed of Mach 23. That's 23 times the speed of sound.
Cares for the soldiers, and he.
All right, very interesting. Okay, so
Election day. Why would that be?
Today,
who lives in Washington, D.C.? You know, voter registration in Washington, D.C. is less than 10% Republican.
Or burn himself?
So you're going to have to ask the question,
this is insane.
who is it they are protecting themselves against? And exactly which election result would lead to rioting? Which election result would lead to the Democrat majority in Washington, D.C. ripping up their own city? And as somebody who saw the BLM Antifa Summer of Love up close, who had my own home set ablaze with my newborn baby daughter inside of it, as somebody who was assaulted in the street multiple times by these ravenous animals, I got to tell you, I don't like to see it. We should expect better. Listen, man, I think Trump's going to win. I think that Trump could win in a landslide. But I'm telling you what, no matter the result, all right? If it is a free and fair election, nobody should be rioting. The fact that this is just normal now in America, some of the businesses we spoke with said that it's something that they have to do in case violence breaks out. Well, let's see. Who would be the violent party here, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. But here we go all over again. I've seen it before in Washington, D.C. I lived there for 15 years. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at square one. They rioted and burned the city to the ground when Donald Trump was first elected, and they are ready to do it again. So, here we go again. The psyops have already started. Here we go. The U.S. Capitol Police posting moments ago. Our officer just arrested a man who was stopped during a screening process at the Capitol Visitor Center. The man smelled like fuel, had a tort.
By the way, JJ, I tend to agree with you. There's a lot of deception around the historical nuclear topic. What is interesting to me is that they use it as trigger language. So they're using the language of nuclear testing happening on the eve of the election as trigger words to get people moving and thinking in certain directions. So the question is why, right? Why do you think, guys?
And a flare gun. The visitor center is closed for tours for the day while we investigate.
So apparently a guy with a flare gun gets
thanks, guys.
stopped.
Why exactly was a man drenched in what you'd have to assume gasoline?
Drenched in something that smelled like fuel. And, you know, this happened recently.
Flammable.
Did you see that video of the one guy who burned himself alive?
Torch and flare gun.
Yeah.
What was he planning on doing?
Yeah.
Setting himself on fire? This actually happened.
Super suspicious. It smelled like gas.
Embassy, I believe. I mean, you have to assume that, or something worse. Who knows? And if you have a flare gun, you can do damage with that. If you are yourself covered in flammable liquid, then you could do damage to a bunch of other people, right? If you're on fire.
Right. Let's see here. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. Oh, wait. If you're cold, they are cold. Bring them inside and warm them up in deer stew. Just in case the party of tolerance and acceptance loses. just remember, everybody, just in case the party of tolerance and acceptance loses, board up your windows and get ready.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what are some of your thoughts so far, Jeremiah?
Man, I love that guy, Benny Johnson. We were watching that right before we went live, me and Lindsay. And we've been watching his videos all day because he has really good breakdowns and really good inside information, like with the Trump campaign and like living in Washington, D.C. So he kind of knows the, what's really going on there. And it's just, his channel's awesome. I would love to connect with him someday. But yeah, just all day it's been like crazy. And I keep looking on my right, looking at the election map to see if, what they're going to call next,
Hey, man, here's another reason that the establishment, or the WHO at least, doesn't want Trump to win. And we know that they're all in bed together. YouTube, for example, the algorithm working against the Trump-Joe Rogan interview was very interesting to watch. Like, what should have been the most viral interview of all time wasn't put on the trending list, was hidden by search results. Why is it that you have YouTube, which censors people because of WHO regulations and shuts down stuff? Could they be working together to stop the pro-Trump train? Well, with Trump teaming up with Robert F. Kennedy recently, he just posted, on January 20, the Trump White House will advise all U.S. water systems to remove fluoride from public water. That's insane. Fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump want to make America healthy again. So we have that crazy team up. I actually thought Robert F. Kennedy, if he had actually gotten the Democratic nomination, he likely would have won. I was actually, thinking he would have been a strong candidate. But then you see that weird shenanigery with the Democratic National Party and how they choose candidates. And you even saw it in 2016 with Hillary Clinton shutting down Bernie Sanders in this like crazy, like corrupt way. And we saw it in 2020 with other kind of fishy things going on. But what do you think, Jeremiah?
Well, I think, I have so many thoughts about Robert F. Kennedy. I love what he stands behind, and I love everything about him. But I don't think the Democrats would have ever elected him. Like they try to stay as far away from him as possible because he's speaking too much truth. Everybody here that's in this chat knows that too. It's just he's too much of an outsider. But deep down, he comes from a long line of Kennedy Democrats, and for him to, come out and say all these things, a lot of his family won't even talk to him because he's speaking truth. And I just think it's amazing that they have a, partnership. That's why he was running independent. Did you know that some states still have him on the ballot, even though he dropped out, just so they could take votes away from Trump?
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Yeah, there's you know what? Let's show some more of the,
Special reality, and you're incompetent. That's a pretty big burden to put on the country.
But just like you said, I like the energy of Benny over here. So maybe we'll wrap up some of our clip reviewing with some of his latest kind of conversation about where the the swing's happening. And for the record, I just it's so funny to me, this topic of voting in the U.S. And I just had a couple pictures before we get to the video. Ciara, my wife, sent me this earlier, and if you guys can see it, it's interesting how early in 2020, early in the evening, the whole map was red, just like it is very similar to now. And then it was like in the early morning, like 2 or 3 a.m., a bunch of states that had declared red were flipped blue, and states that were contested and were like, it's very close, of course, became the grounds for the debate and the law warfare that happened all regarding the 2020 election after the fact, while they tabulated for months and months and tried to recount and do all that kind of stuff. But man, it's very interesting to see. Here's another one I think is interesting. Sometimes I often feel like this is the two choices we're given in politics. It's the right and the left paradigm, the Baal or Moloch, and both are bad. But I understand in this election, so many people are being, stirred up to go and vote in order to save America, right? And we're swayed along by those around us, and we're seeing people we look up to. Just recently, many people idolize guys like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and you can imagine their impact on the election as a whole. And even recently, we see Elon Musk won his lawsuit revolving around rewarding a $1 million a day kind of sweepstakes for people who are registered to vote in swing states. What are some of your thoughts on that, Jeremiah?
About Elon Musk in general? I'm torn between the guy because, we know him as the SpaceX guy, and it's like, I love what he's doing with X, the Twitter, but I don't know his credibility. I would love to have him on the show just to talk with him, just to kind of pick his brain a little bit, because he's on that spectrum like I am. So he thinks differently than other people. And I think since Joe Rogan, since that last podcast where he got Rogan to endorse President Trump, that was a big win for us, or for me. I don't know what party you identify.
I'm kind of in the gray area, I guess. I'm on the side of independent. I'm on the side of conspiracists. I believe that it's all a conspiracy, and in that same mindset, I wanted to share everybody this picture. When we talk about this fight between Trump and the system at large, there's so many interesting things that happen, and this is the side of conspiracy theorists that have actually turned out to be legitimate and true. And so many people might be watching or who in the past possibly cited or were convinced by mainstream journalism of this left side, which has been debunked. So let's just go down the list, Jeremiah. We had the Hunter Biden laptop topic, which was called a hoax and was actually where the U.S. government directly interfered in the First Amendment and got in bed with media companies like Twitter to hide information that was directly relevant to the landslide election. More votes cast in history in 2020 than any candidates have ever received. And if this topic had been allowed to circulate, then it would have definitely swayed that election. Of course, the misinformation on mRNA harm. We had the pandemic, we have lockdowns, we have certain things that I don't want to start mentioning. We have the topic of Epstein Island, Russiagate, the Steele dossier, Ukraine corruption. These are all things that we have been talking about for months and months and several years, Jeremiah, as we covered here on Skiba News Nation. And it's so interesting to see that the mainstream kind of conservative whole has swallowed this conspiracy-minded understanding of reality, which is really profound when you think about it. But let's continue on looking over here and watch some more Benny.
And a pretty big risk for the whole planet.
Kamala
We're in a
Harris
dangerous
rally.
world. I can't imagine Kamala Harris wrestling with nuclear war, wrestling with problems in Ukraine or Gaza or Iran or Venezuela or Cuba.
They want some good news tonight. I can feel the anxiety.
How's he doing? Let's see.
I can feel it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do a little scroll, okay? Let's do a little bit of a refresh here.
I'm looking for a video he had earlier in his stream that depicted visually
Let's
the
rock
way
and roll.
that people were leaning. It was
Let's hit
very
the feed
interesting,
up
but I'm not able to find it at the
right
moment.
now and see what some of the smart people are saying on our X feed. Disaster unfolding in Philadelphia right now for Democrats. The GOP is doing historically well in Philadelphia. You know what this is? Black men. You know what this is? Black men.
Very interesting.
Kamala Harris underperforming in Philadelphia. This is the top line right now in the country.
Is unprecedented, obviously, in American history.
Got some other talk
you are seeing that show up. If you
Daily Wire folk.
In Texas, as we said while Dennis was here.
You have such an interesting gathering of these conservative voices that are all pro men's mental health and you know, these traveling speakers gathering together. And it's very interesting seeing the people that are staying up late tonight to comment on the election.
You know, Ted was actually kind of on the ropes a little bit in a very hard fight.
You know, talk a
Canada
little bit
says
about,
or does, but
hey,
I'll
there's
support
Dr. Phil,
America's
Jeremiah.
president.
What do you know?
Yeah. And I said one of the most important days in my life was 9/12/01. Not 9/11, but 9/12, because the morning after 9/11, we woke up and we were all Americans. And I hope that we don't have to have a big catastrophe for us to have that feeling again.
And Dr. Phil, one question for you is, obviously you really believe in individualism. That's something that ranks very high on your list. Many of the stats that are coming in right now show that we are watching a major political realignment in real time on a racial basis. That this sort of stranglehold idea that the Democrats were going to win enormous, overwhelming sums of minority voters across the spectrum, that's just not true. The biggest stat of the night so far is Trump winning maybe 45% of the Hispanic vote and up to 25% of the black male vote, according to Kristen Solstice-Anderson.
The Times has shifted the battlegrounds 2 points in every direction for Donald Trump right now. This is the New York Times. There's not a single ball on their projections that is now in Kamala Harris's category. Every single battleground is Trump. And Arizona flip red! It's not cold yet.
I feel like I'm watching football.
But Arizona's flipped red.
Football.
Boys, we are going to do it. We are going to do it. Jerry.
Looks like good news for you, Jeremiah.
You better have the greatest meme in history for a Trump victory, baby. We're not there yet, but we're going. The train's coming into the station.
Trump train.
Mine is a little bit ahead of
Look at it.
Actually.
It's glorious. Look at your beautiful country.
All right. Well, Jeremiah, what is yours saying right now?
Mine says same website. It says 247 Trump, 204 Harris, and right now the like mid red is Pennsylvania's still up in the air, but it's red. Maine is red. They haven't called it yet. Wisconsin is red. Arizona's red. I don't know how many. I don't know how the point system works, but I mean, Pennsylvania is a big one, I know, but that's just like, I mean, we might know tonight. We very well could know tonight.
Hey, by the way, Incarnate Unlimited, hey, email me, man. I have a board game for you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure to email me. I've been trying to get a hold of you. But anyways, here we go. Check this out, guys. Donald Trump going on Joe Rogan's podcast was something we talked about years ago, man. And it's just, it's so interesting that it actually manifested in reality. And you know, Donald Trump is the candidate, you know, in terms of just comparing him and Kamala Harris. the candidate to beat, because who else is going to go on for 3 hours? And I mean, you look at Kamala Harris and the fact that she's unwilling to hold a 3-hour conversation with Joe Rogan or whatever, or just it didn't work out because she wanted him to travel to her. And it's just interesting comparing the two. But why is it that just the fact that somebody can have a 3-hour conversation is what legitimizes them to become president, right? It's just the fact that we're coming from the age of Joe Biden where he couldn't have a...
Hey bro, you're breaking up just a bit. Your video was fine, but the audio was kind of spotty.
I bumped my mic, so...
Oh, now we can't hear you.
Hello, mic check. How's it now, guys?
Can't hear you, man.
Hello.
I will keep you guys entertained till he gets back. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, am I back here, Jeremiah? Can you hear me? I can't hear you now. I don't know what's going on. Oh, your mic's muted, brother. Okay, there we go. Or...
Oh. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm a really good ventriloquist. Anyways, can you pull Jake back up? Why is Jake not? There he is.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Still no audio. It's so weird.
Oh,
Keeps
all right.
bumping you off too. It's kind of funny. They don't like what we're saying.
All right, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Can't hear you, bro.
Man, what a trip, man. Live interaction.
They don't like the truth. They don't like it.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so anyways, I was just going to, if you guys can't hear me, I was just going to finish off with this.
We got you for a second.
Hey, hello.
Okay, now we hear you.
Yeah. They say they can hear us. Okay, cool. I wanted to share this meme with y'all. It says, your ear is in the shape of a womb. It's really cool. Whatever you listen to will eventually be conceived and born into your reality. Choose carefully what you listen to. And so a lot of the things that are being said about what Donald Trump is going to accomplish or what politics in general are going to accomplish kind of set seeds in the minds of the people that are interacting with this whole thing. And it's just, so important, the leaders that we put in charge of us. And I think that's just the concept of, what we hear is very important. And the leaders that are in charge are kind of put there by the Most High in the end. And so we can only kind of speculate. Do you think Donald Trump is going to be called the winner, Jeremiah?
Well, it says on this thing, 87.5% chance of winning. Kamala Harris has a 12.5% chance of winning on this particular polling. It's called Decision Desk HQ. But I mean, I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to jinx it.
All right. Let's see here. Any final thoughts, Jeremiah? And we'll, I guess we can wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that they keep calling him, they keep trying to demonize Trump. And it's just crazy because they're trying to do this again. They're trying to do this again. And that's crazy. This way. By the way that they're talking about him and they're trying to demonize him and they're trying to do all this stuff, call him Hitler It's just it's really, really like it's like they are the ones that want something bad to happen, and it's all by plan, I think, just by the way that they are so nasty and so like two-faced, and I don't know. It's just I think people have lost faith in the mainstream media, and I'm happy for that, you know.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen an election like this one in history. You have two incumbent, like a vice president try and run for presidency, and then you have a pre-president going for it himself, and it's just mind-boggling how many people that were once very flagrant liberals have been swayed to be Trump conservatives, right? Because what the truth is the Democratic liberal left has morphed into this crazy ideology, pushing things that people who previously and decades before claimed to be left never agreed to some of these concepts. That's why you're seeing guys like Joe Rogan endorse Trump. But just like some of our friends are posting, their fix doesn't come in into the wee hours of the morning. Absolutely. That's what happened in 2020. We all went to bed, and then 2, 3 in the morning, they found a bunch of votes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Everybody's scared to go to bed after what happened last time. Yep. Yeah. Are you going to be pulling an all-nighter, Jeremiah? What do you think?
I probably will be, yeah. If you guys want to, maybe I can post some Facebook posts or something. I've been MIA on Facebook, and I had to take Charlie to the vet this morning, and it's just been crazy last couple of days. So sorry, guys, if you've messaged me on social media. I've been kind of MIA. So.
And don't forget to jump over on our channel, guys. Join or subscribe. Like the video. Help us get out there. I hope you found our little monologue trying to entice the algorithm at the beginning of the episode tonight palatable. I know it probably came across as a little cringy, but unfortunately, sometimes they have automated what videos they push in front of other people. And so if you're watching this video live tonight, thank you for joining us.
Sorry, I missed that last part. You're still breaking up a little bit.
All right, guys. Well, any final thoughts, Jeremiah? Let's pop off here, and we'll all report back this week. Don't forget to check out Skiba News Nation's episode so that we can see how things landed when the cookie crumbles.
I think what Jake is saying is don't forget to like and subscribe to Skiba News Nation. We hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the technical difficulties. This was all Jake's idea, and I want to give him credit for that. He's doing a great job, and I couldn't do it without Jake. So big shout out to him. So I love you, bro. Let's win.
I love you too, bro. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Good night, and we'll check back in at the end of this week. Don't forget to tune in.
Silence us. I can't hear you. This is great.
All right.
Anyways,
Take
guys,
care, everybody.
We'll be to our regular scheduled programming this Friday at 4:44 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I hope I can speak on behalf of Jake, but we both love you guys. Opa's back here, and so does Charlie. He's being bad. He just took his cone off his head, which is not okay right now. But we appreciate you being here. So we'll see you.